Chapter 1. The War. In the heart of conflict, amidst the chaotic clash of arms and the deafening roar of warfare, the Kingdom of Kruzan and the Kingdom of Theros found themselves locked in a bitter struggle. Druman, a once peaceful village, now stood as the grim battleground where the fate of nations hung in the balance. The air was thick with the acrid scent of smoke and the metallic tang of blood as the armies clashed without mercy. The 89th Pioneer Division, stalwart defenders of Kruzan, stood firm against the relentless onslaught of the 5th Storm Troop Division of Theros. Each side fought with unwavering resolve, steeled by the belief in their cause. Gunfire echoed through the streets, mingling with the thunderous boom of artillery and the piercing shriek of mortar fire. Tanks rumbled through the rubble-strewn lanes, their mighty cannons unleashing devastation upon anything in their path. Yet amidst the chaos, individual soldiers fought with a fierce bravery, their courage shining bright amid the darkness of war. In Druman, the very fabric of reality seemed to fray under the weight of violence. Yet still, the soldiers pressed on. For them, there was no retreat, no surrender, only victory or death in the crucible of battle. And so the war raged on, each side locked in a deadly dance of destruction as the fate of nations hung in the balance. Chapter 2. Commander Zonovich. Amidst the chaos of battle, a figure emerged from the smoke and debris, his presence commanding respect and instilling confidence in those who fought alongside him. Commander Edward Zonovich, a seasoned veteran of countless conflicts, stood at the forefront of the defense of Druman, his steely gaze fixed upon the enemy. Tall and imposing, with a weathered face marked by the trials of war, Zonovich was a leader born of necessity and forged in the crucible of battle. His every word carried the weight of authority, his every decision guided by the wisdom of experience. As the commander of the 89th Pioneer Division, Zonovich had earned a reputation for his tactical brilliance and unyielding determination. He led from the front, his courage serving as an inspiration to those under his command. Despite the overwhelming odds stacked against them, Zonovich remained resolute, his unwavering belief in his cause driving him ever forward. For him, there was no room for doubt or hesitation. There was only the mission and the duty to see it through to the bitter end. As the battle raged on, Zonovich stood as a bulwark against the tide of enemy aggression, his leadership guiding his troops through the darkest hours of conflict. In the chaos of war, he was a beacon of hope, a symbol of defiance against overwhelming odds. And so, under the command of Zonovich, the defenders of Druman fought on, their spirits unbroken and their resolve unshaken. For as long as their commander stood at their side, they knew that victory was within their grasp, no matter the cost. Chapter 3. Zonovich's Playbook. Surveying the map of Druman with a keen eye, Commander Zonovich's gaze settled upon a crucial detail that could potentially turn the tide of battle. Not far from their current position lay a rugged mountain range, hastily converted into a temporary military base by the forces of Theros. Recognizing the strategic advantage that lay within reach, Zonovich wasted no time in formulating a daring plan. With a decisive stroke, he called upon the expertise of the 4th Engineering Company and the 15th Mining Company, tasking them with a mission of utmost importance. Under Zonovich's direction, the engineers and miners set to work with a sense of urgency, their skilled hands shaping the earth and stone to carve out a tunnel that would serve as a hidden passage beneath the mountain range. It was a task fraught with peril, yet they labored tirelessly, driven by the knowledge that the success of their mission could mean the difference between victory and defeat. As the tunnel took shape, Zonovich meticulously planned every detail of the impending counterattack. With the element of surprise on their side, his troops would have the opportunity to strike a decisive blow against the enemy forces entrenched within the mountain base. Through long days and even longer nights, the tunnel grew ever closer to completion, a testament to the determination and ingenuity of Zonovich's command. And when the moment of reckoning finally arrived, the defenders of Druman would be ready to unleash their fury upon the unsuspecting enemy, their resolve unbreakable and their courage unyielding. For Zonovich knew that in war, victory often belonged to those willing to seize the initiative, to adapt and overcome in the face of adversity. And with his plan set in motion, he stood ready to lead his troops to glory, whatever the cost. Chapter 4, First Phase. With the tunnel completed and his troops prepared for the impending assault, Commander Xanovich wasted no time in setting his plan into motion. The first phase of his counterattack would be decisive, aimed at sowing confusion and disarray among the enemy ranks. With a commanding voice, Xanovich ordered a massive artillery strike against the enemy positions, the thunderous roar of cannons echoing across the battlefield as shells rained down upon the Theros soldiers. The earth trembled beneath their feet, and smoke and dust billowed into the air, obscuring the battlefield in a haze of chaos. As the enemy scrambled to respond to the sudden onslaught, Xanovich initiated a series of diversionary attacks, sending small units of his troops to launch feigned assaults on multiple fronts. The sounds of gunfire and explosions filled the air, as Xanovich's soldiers appeared to fight with a desperate intensity, their movements calculated to give the impression of a last-ditch defense. But beneath the surface, Xanovich's true intentions lay hidden, his diversionary tactics designed to draw the attention of the enemy away from the true objective of the assault. While the Theros soldiers were preoccupied with defending against the apparent onslaught, Xanovich's main force slipped unnoticed through the tunnel, poised to strike at the heart of the enemy base. As the chaos of battle raged on, Xanovich watched with a steely gaze, his every move calculated and deliberate. For him, this was not merely a battle for territory, but a test of strategy and skill, a contest of wills against a formidable foe. And as the first phase of his counterattack unfolded, he knew that victory lay within his grasp. If only he could maintain the element of surprise just a little while longer. Chapter 5. First Victory. With the element of surprise on their side and the full force of their counterattack unleashed, Xanovich and his company descended upon the Theros army with a ferocity born of desperation and determination. The battlefield erupted into a maelstrom of violence and chaos as the two sides clashed in a desperate struggle for dominance. For 20 grueling hours, the sounds of battle echoed across the land as Xanovich and his troops fought with unmatched courage and resolve. Wave after wave of Theros soldiers fell before their relentless onslaught, their defenses crumbling under the relentless assault of Kruzan firepower. At long last, as the dust settled and the smoke cleared, the remaining Theros soldiers were forced to surrender, their once proud army broken and defeated. It was a hard-fought victory, won through blood, sweat, and sacrifice, but it was a victory nonetheless. For Xanovich, it was not only a triumph on the battlefield, but a personal victory as well. His leadership and tactical prowess had led his troops to their first decisive victory against the Theros army, a feat that would be remembered for generations to come. As the dust settled and the full extent of the battle became clear, the grim toll of war was revealed in the stark statistics of the conflict. Kruzan army, 23,000 dead, 10,000 wounded. Theros army, 43,000 dead, 21,000 wounded, 500 missing in action, 8,000 surrendered. Despite the heavy losses suffered on both sides, Xanovich knew that this victory was a crucial turning point in the war. With their first taste of success against the forces of Theros, the Kruzan army had proven that they were more than capable of holding their own against their enemies. As they tended to their wounded and counted their dead, Xanovich and his troops knew that their fight was far from over. But with their spirits bolstered by their hard-won victory, they stood ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead.